Hey guys, what's up? It's Schla, coming back with another episode of Car Rides with Schla. And today, I don't have too much to report, do I? Yesterday, I got my camera thing set up, so I have a setup now that I'm cool with, but some of my peers were not super cool with. Let's call them that. Let's call them my peers. I don't know how much people were really feeling it, but I'm feeling it, and that's honestly right off the top, right off the dome, what we're going to start with today. Is I'm honestly kind of tired of, I'm usually the type of person that really double checks with people, wants to kind of see everybody's opinion about things and see what makes the most sense and all that. That's always what I'm trying to do. I'm not usually just bursting into things with my own ideas. I really think making an aggregate, taking an aggregate of everyone and everybody's ideas and stuff and putting it all together is the most accurate way to do things. That's just my general opinion about things. I don't think it's wise to just take one person's idea and run with it. But what do I know? What do I know? I think the difference, though, is that there can be a case to be made that the aggregate only pushes you towards an average. And when you're making content, do you really want it to just fit a norm or be average? I mean, potentially. Because potentially that is going to mean you're popular. Because I'm assuming whatever's hitting at the moment, or there are certain trends to analyze. But I don't know if everybody is really meant for that. And a lot of times, the biggest and best trends, they come about not like that. Right? A lot of times, the things that really come onto the scene and are groundbreaking or trend-setting, they weren't somebody mimicking somebody else. They were somebody who came up with an idea that was out of the aggregate. Because that's the whole problem with the aggregate, is it's only average. It only can create typical. Now, I guess there's some nuance to that, because certain situations, the aggregate is an aggregate of what's best. And in other situations, an aggregate is an aggregate of what is. And when you're trying to make the best, which aggregate is the most important? That is the question. Now, of course, I don't know. I don't know if you were expecting me to run all that down and then have some kind of deep insight about it, because I don't. I'm just spitballing ideas right off the dome. I think I'm going to trust myself, though. People saying, oh, you can't do that, you can't do that. But it's the Schlangle. It's going to be called the Schlangle. And we're going to figure out different angles to experiment with, I'm sure. I'm sure there's going to be other angles that come my way. But for now, it's going to be the Schlangle. And the Schlangle is going to be my thing. Know what I'm saying? It's going to be my thing. I don't think anybody else does this. And that's good. Now, of course, someone could steal the idea of the Schlangle, but I don't know how they could, because they haven't seen the Schlangle yet. Well, 3 people have seen the Schlangle. So some people have seen the Schlangle, but y'all know when y'all see it. It's gonna be, because I just finished the videos. It's gonna be probably 50 something. I think the face reveal. I think so. I think I don't know. We'll have to see, but we're prepared now. We are definitely prepared, and we know what we're doing. So that's kind of the thing, though. I feel like I listen to people a lot. I come up with a lot of good ideas, but then I still have the inclination to want to listen to someone else who I assume has a better idea. And let's just give some understandable examples. My father, right? So if I'm younger, teenager, even now, looking up to my dad as a role model, I might get his opinion about something and then mimic what he wants to do, right? But on the other hand, maybe I don't. Maybe I could choose my own decision, but I usually just assume that authority kind of knows better, and I've just always been that kind of person. I like to believe that I am not necessarily an expert, and other people might be or could be. So that's typically, oh my gosh, I'm locking in. I remembered I wanted to get gas this morning. Well, it's good I left a little bit early, because it was just a few minutes early. It won't really compensate, but that's pretty good. I probably would have tried to leave even earlier, though, if I had remembered I was getting gas. But at least we're not completely done here. We still have hope. Now, of course, I could forget. I could still forget. Don't get me wrong. Could forget. But I think it's time I started listening to myself more. I think listening to another person, there's a feeling of reduced risk, because you kind of feel like, well, it's not my fault if it doesn't go well. I was just listening to somebody else. Whereas if you do your thing and fail, that you're out of luck. You know what I mean? Like that's it. That's a wrap. So I think that's the other thing that's scary to me about it. And then what's also scary is the way the mic's set up right now. I wonder if going over bumps is going to steadily shift this thing down. I'm going to have to order more of the mounting material, I think, for sure. And I should be able to construct something a little more stable, but it still is kind of risky the way I have it. But I think it can be better. Well, maybe. I actually don't even know. I think we're just going to have to hope that nothing too crazy happens with this, and we can maintain it for the time being. That's I think the idea is. Cross the fingers, no planning, no optimizing, forget all that stuff. Schly out. You dig? Like that's how we have to be more. I really wonder what people are thinking when they see me like this. Is it strange that I think about what other people think a lot. I know there's that saying, oh, I don't care about what people say, or I don't care about what people think about me. Like a lot of people say that. Here's the thing. I don't know. I think it's just untrue. I'm probably a example of someone who particularly doesn't really care about what other people think. I'm probably just a particular example, honestly, where I particularly do care about what other people think. But I have a feeling even the people who say that still do. Because I've even met people who've said that, oh, I don't care about what other people think. And then I've been with them long enough to notice that they do end up caring about what other people think. So I think ultimately it's a lot of cope. It's a lot of... Although, that to be said, I think there's a distinction that needs to be made. I do think there are people who exist who genuinely don't. Well, see, now this gets complicated. Because I think there are people who, they don't care about what other people think, but then they might care that they don't care about what other people think, and that sort of becomes their brand. So then it becomes intentional. And then even those people are then going to have to deal with the conundrum of other people have to either not care about what they think or care that they don't care that other people don't think about them, right? Because if someone's all like, oh, I don't care about what other people think, but nobody's thinking about them, then that's kind of, that don't really make much sense either, right? I hope you guys get what I'm saying. I know it's kind of a layered concept I'm getting at here, but hopefully you get the premise. It's just, I don't know, I think it makes sense. To me, it makes sense. But that's just me. That's just me. Because that's the whole thing about being a rebel and having it as a vibe versus are you actually a rebel from your soul's purpose? Because those are two super different things, right? Someone can be a rebel and have a very sound reason and logic for their rebellion, and other people may be rebels without a cause. But again, for rebels to exist, you have to have rule followers, and for rule followers to exist, you have to have rebels. Unless, besides that, it would become monogamous. I don't know if that is really the... I feel like that could be the correct term, you know. I feel like it could be. I just realized I forgot I knew I was going to forget something because I had way too many distinct, like, new things I wanted to try. So, essentially, I have another pair of glasses I wanted to try to see how it looked different in the recording. And I didn't get to try them. So, I left them at my house. I forgot. I don't know why I worded it in that order. I think I should have just said, like, I have new glasses. I'm not trying them, though, or something like that. I don't know. So, yeah, I mean, just realizing that now, and I'm getting ticked off. But, yeah, people, I'm really tired of people trying to tell me, like, this isn't a good idea, that's not a good idea. I'm just going to start doing stuff. I'm just going to start doing stuff and see where it goes. Now, of course, and what's the worst that could happen? If it don't work, if people don't like it, we can find out something different. We can figure out a different idea. Not all hope is lost, right? That's how I feel. That's how I feel. We're going into today strong. You know, there were some episodes I was losing hope. I was drifting, but I'm feeling the fame now, the incoming fame. I know it's gonna be interesting. Then the night shift comes along, and guys, I don't know if I can do this anymore. Guys, it's hard for me. You know, like, that's kind of how I roll sometimes. But no, I've been feeling good since last night. I've been feeling pretty good about things. Feels like things are gonna be coming together, and All will be very much according to plan, just how I wanted it to. And this is going to be ignoring everybody's advice. So we'll see who wins, but I'm trying to win. And I think a lot of people are trying to lose, you dig? So something to keep in mind. Now I'm just doing stuff with my lips, and I'm like cracking up at that. I'm cracking up at what I'm doing. Now I know y'all can't see it, but hey, y'all gonna see it soon. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's coming. Good things are coming. Good things come to those who wait. And hey, at the same time, and I've already said I was mad about this. This series is gold, man. And the fact that any of these episodes are still in the single-digit views, that's not tragic on my part. That's tragic on y'all's part. I shouldn't need a title. I shouldn't need a thumbnail. Period. Like, it just don't make sense. And I don't know. I mean, I've thought about adding thumbnails, potentially. I should definitely make thumbnails. At least indicating the number of the episode or something like that, you know. I don't know. That's what I think I'm going to do. And my frog thing or something like that. Now, once the videos come along, then... No, I could still make a thumbnail because I could just have things on the side because the video's only square and thumbnails are rectangles, so there's extra space to either side. So I could put the episode number and I don't know what else to the side. You know, I'm actually figuring it out. I'm coming up with great ideas. I'm glad this is recorded, even though who knows if I will listen to it. But yeah, that's what I will do with the thumbnail. I will probably have the thing try to automatically pick whatever best facial expressions, or maybe intentionally do something weird like that, like... Nah, sorry, you can't. I'm probably going to just, like, intentionally have a still frame where I'm doing some kind of weird face or something, and then hope that it detects that as, like, a good thumbnail. And then I'll take that image and actually put it into the template, which is just going to be, hey, I'm just going to type on the episode number, and I don't know, it'll be a consistent color and stuff like that with the square image to the right, I believe. Because you read from left to right, I feel like the image should be on the right, although that could obviously change. You could hear this, and then at this point, they're all already up, and the image is on the left. Because I think there's two arguments to be made with that. First argument is left to right. So we read from the left to right, so if there's words, they should be on the left, because that's where they're read. That's option number one. Number two, since we read from left to right, you want to capitalize on the initial attention of the image. So if there is an image... Yeah, why am I blanking? Oh my gosh. If there is an image... and it's on the left, that's the first thing people see and read. Although, again, to balance that out, if we read from left to right, to balance that, you do want to put the words on the left, because then people are already going to notice the image regardless. So it kind of makes sense. So it's a matter of balance versus capitalization. Although, maybe that does mean on the left makes more sense, because if I'm just having something like the number count of how many episodes it's been, then I would assume something like that, if it's just minor, should just go on the right. Whereas if it was something major, like let's say extra words for the title, then it probably would make sense to have it on the left. I think it depends. I think it depends on what I'm doing, but I don't think chances are that high that I'm going to be doing it that way, because there's not going to be a ton of room as far as I know. I mean, of course, we're going to have to look at things, but I don't think there's going to be enough space to fit much words in the sidebar on the left. That would be my assumption. Now, I assume thumbnails are like a 16:9 rectangle, although I have no idea. That it could be some odd aspect ratio for all I know. But assuming that's the case, there's just not going to be that much extra space to work with after the square of my face is taking up the bulk of the frame. So something to be mindful of, right? I don't know. I think it's something to be mindful of. So, that being said, why am I blanking so hard? Oh, I just wanted to mention that this other idea I'd thought. That's why I'm thinking of a bunch of different things at the same time. So I'm getting a little bit confused, and I'm trying to put everything out there. I'm trying to get through a list of things that was in my head, and I'm also driving, so it's hard to keep track of everything. My other idea is we could have just the number in the top left, let's say, or well, in this case the top right, or actually in this case the bottom right. So in this case we would have the number of the episode in the bottom right, and then in that additional sliver of rectangle above that we could have multiple more shots of my face. I think that actually makes a lot of sense. I don't know if you guys can understand that. Let me try to explain it in as good of a way as possible. So on the left, we have the primary thumbnail that I think is the best, that either YouTube has picked or I just know is the best. And that's on the left of the thumbnail. Now, obviously, that will be moved over all the way to the left, so there will inevitably be a black bar on the right. So at the bottom of that black bar on the right, because again, this image is my face and my face is a square, it's going to be a square. And so on the right, there's going to end up being black left over because it's a horizontal rectangle and I'm only taking up a square all the way to the left. So in that excess space at the bottom right corner will be the episode number, and then in the remaining black space that isn't occupied, either a repeat of the primary face stacked on top of each other to fill out the remaining space, or if I really felt ambitious and creative, it would be different shots, other different thumbnails from throughout the video that I thought were particularly interesting, but not as interesting as the main image. If that makes sense. I hope I did a good enough job in articulating that. I tried very hard. I tried very hard to make sure that explanation was very thorough, and I even withheld from mentioning that I did remember to not go off of my usual place so I can get gas. I even remembered that. So a lot of good things, a lot of good remembering going on. And yeah, I think that's all there is to it, really, right? Is that all I got to say? We end the episode? Nah, I'm playing. But yeah, that's how I took it. I mean, at first, I was going to listen to what everybody said about the thumbnail. Yeah, well, I don't know why I'm saying thumbnail. The Schlangle. At first, I was going to listen to what everybody said about the Schlangle. but I'm not, because I think it's a lesson. It's going to be a turning point in my life where I guess I either realize, am I supposed to listen to other people and leave my crazy ideas to rest, or am I going to not do that? Am I going to Sorry, I know what I'm going to say. I'm just thinking of how to say it. Am I going to dive in and explore the depths of all my ideas and experiment with all of them? With what works, and what doesn't work, I guess we scrap. I guess this will be the breaking point for that crossroads, right? I think so. So that's that. It is what it is. This is life. And that's the other thing I thought about, is that there's no way to avoid risk in life. Everything's always going to have risk. That's an important message, I think, that kind of ties into the story. Because and here's the thing. If I never try it, I'll have to deal with eternity of never knowing if it worked out or not. But if I do try it and it doesn't work, at least I'll know. And if I do try it and it does work, then I made it. You dig? Like, that's really where we're trying to get at with now. And then, of course, my reputation could be eternally tarnished. So that would not be good if the Schlangle thing doesn't work out. An eternally tarnished reputation would not be good. Wonder if it could help me, wonder if it couldn't. But yeah, I mean, I know it's going to be a little bit silly, and we're just trying to embrace that, I guess. All right, so I'm realizing too, I'm probably going to start cutting when I have to get gas in the editing, so you guys won't even know. I might as well not even tell y'all. I'm getting gas. You know what I'm saying? All right. Anyways, it's been Schla, but bye. Well, no. You guys aren't going to. Well, if I feel like editing, I might get too lazy. Anyways, bye. Alright, back in action. Sorry for the brief intermission, but life has its ways of instilling physical limits on the flesh. And we have to figure out the best way of dealing with it. And that's all life really is, right? At the end of the day, is figuring out what we gotta do and doing it. That's all life really is about. It's hard to believe we've made it this far. I believe this is episode 46. And that's only because and this is just off of memory, because I just did the previous episodes. Oh, sorry, rewind. I wanted to mention I'd almost pulled too far ahead, and I thought that would have been kind of embarrassing at the gas station, and then had to reverse back or something. Although I realized that thing has quite a bit of mobility, the tubing, or whatever you want to call it. The tubing has quite a bit of mobility, so I think chances are really low that would ever happen. But I'm always kind of nervous about getting that kind of stuff exact, I suppose. And yeah, we just missed a light that's probably going to crucially hinder us. Although our time is okay. We'll end up being okay, but not anything fantastic. And again, I think it's because this light just barely missed it. So, not too good, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So what were we talking about? All life really is dealing with physical restraints like gas or battery. Yeah, I guess we'll find out about the light thing, because this one turned green, and if the next one's still green by the time we get there, then it won't have mattered, but it could end up mattering, because it might turn red by the time we get there. So you guys just stay tuned. That's all you guys need to know. I don't know what I was talking about. I shouldn't have done that rewind. Yep, see, we get gypped. So I was correct. We got pretty poor light luck. And it's going to add, I want to say, 2 minutes. Cost me 40 cents right there. Isn't that something? 40 cents. And does the state refund me, or does the city refund me? I don't think so, right? Does the town give me money back for costing me 40 cents because they put these silly lights up? These stupid lights? They're telling me to stop. I'm trying to go. I'm not trying to stop. I'm trying to go, and they're telling me to stop. This town and their silly lights. Whoa, why am I getting honked at, pal? 'Cause you're in an Escalade? Is that why I'm getting honked at? You think you're something special in an off-white Escalade? An old one too? Think you're special, pal? Yeah, I'm apparently going too slow for him. Hey, not everybody's got a V8 Escalade, buddy. Like, I don't even know, that thing's so old. I don't know how fast it's really going, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I don't know how fast it's really moving. I mean, it's an 8, but it's probably an old 8, you know? Like, seriously, man. These people, man, these people, they need to learn to be chill. They need to be learning like the schla. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be off next to me now too. So I don't know what's going on. Oh, he's just some old head. He's nothing, man. Are you all right? All right. Anyways, sorry. I was. So usually what happens is when I am oncoming and somebody's turning, I usually just can kind of let them go because I accelerate very gradually because it's better for the car. So sometimes people get a little bit confused, but other people are just rude anyway, and it just works out. So, because like basically they would just be cutting anyway. Whether I was going slow or not, they'd be trying to cut in front of me, even if I floored it. Unless I was in a supercar, you know what I'm saying? I could probably outspeed, but not that I'd even be not that I'd even be whipping like that. So, yeah, but so since I drive gradually, I usually let people go. Yeah, I'm gonna update. I think we're gonna make okay time, but it's slightly declining into like not exactly okay. We're making okay time, but it's declining a little bit. I'm kind of worried that the angle has shifted a bit on the cam. So, and I mean, will this even be a complete issue? I don't know, because right now we're just in the testing phase. I think I still need to order another one of these things to try to add to the structure I'm making so I have a little more flexibility over doing really crazy things. But this is just a test to kind of get an idea, but I feel like it's shifted, so that's not too great. But it is what it is. No, I think it depends on light luck, but we'll make okay time. We'll end up making okay time, I think. I believe. Oh, but you know what? If my thing gets reset, then that's a wrap. Then that's going to go from being okay to one of the worst, most frustrating mornings ever. That's what that's going to do. Yeah, I think the thing definitely shifted. It's probably, it might be the grip on the phone. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to get that additional thing ordered, I think. Because I hope they'd sponsor me, honestly, because I love their product. Their product is great. It's such a good car phone gripper. Anyways, TLDR with Schla. Whoa, I forgot what I was doing. TLDR with Schla. Today we talked about my confidence, how we trying to roll, we trying to move, we're not trying to stay stagnant, and these other people trying to trim me down and keep me tamed and all this, and we're trying to rise above and do my thing, you know? And people are trying to tell me otherwise, and then after that, I don't really know what I talked about. So, yeah, there's that. And hey, we ended up making okay time. My prediction of slightly, yeah. All right, anyways, I'll see you on the next episode. Bye, Schla.